Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon.
Billy Spitfire.
Billy
Spitfire.
Yeah.
Unlimited.
There you go. Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. I want to let you know that we are thrilled to death that you are listening to our show. It's
Always.
Can't even
so
hold it
exciting.
together. Yeah.
Yep.
We love
We
doing it.
can't make our words go together today.
We're just raring to go, as they say. You know what that means? It's not really raring, it's rearing to go.
rearing.
When a horse rears, and it's like, let me go.
I like raring better though.
That's great. Yes. Well, that's because like steak, you like
I do like
that.
a nice rare steak.
Yes, you like
Not
steak
bad.
that you just say, you just insult it and then put it on a plate.
I do not like horse meat steaks though.
No, why would you?
Because you said rearing.
Anyways, okay. Hey, we've got a very special guest today. Who are you, special guest?
Hello, my name is Johnny from Oakland Guitars in Oakland, California.
Nice.
Also
Johnny.
known as Johnny Morales, who we've mentioned on the show a couple times.
Yeah.
And just in, we talked about, we actually brought up the shop an episode or two ago where we were, I think it was. If
Yeah.
it's not, it's the one that's about to come out that I'm working on right now, which by this time you would have heard it, will have already come out.
God.
I don't feel so bad about spitting now.
Yeah. We have tons to talk about, and we're really thrilled to be able to do this on a weekly basis. We truly are fortunate that this is a thing. We need to thank a few people. That is correct. Rode for sponsoring our gear here, our audio gear, our Procaster mics, and our Rodecaster Pro mixer.
Yes.
Doing it still. Thank goodness.
We could not do this podcast without this equipment.
We couldn't.
Sure.
We'd have to use other equipment, and that's just not as fun.
It was horrible when we used other equipment.
It really was. We had shabby,
I remember that.
shabby
You
stuff.
remember that?
We had to start
Remember the-
somewhere, man. Yes.
Remember the stands we had to clamp onto the table
I had to assemble the studio every single time.
every time?
I'd carrying up these boxes full of stuff.
Oh, my
it's brutal.
God.
You
Never
guys were
forget
so
where we
patient.
came from, man. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we mentioned, we've got Johnny Morales with us, and he owns Oakland Guitars, which, if you aren't familiar, he's got a really good Instagram game going, and we're going to talk about running a guitar shop. We're also going to talk about, him as in being involved in the music community and the guitar community as a patron of our show as well. Mm-hmm. Where can people go to see what you do, Johnny?
You could find us at Instagram, Oakland Guitars, formerly Broken Guitars, if you ever follow that page. You could also find us at oaklandguitars510.com.
Perfect. One of the great things that I like, but we'll go into this later, but I just want to mention this. I love that you always show a picture of whoever just bought a guitar. That's super cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think other shops should take a cue from you on doing that. But then that would steal your game, so maybe not. I'll erase that. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Anyways,
I don't know. I think it's okay that if other people stole that, because we should celebrate, new people, whether they're new or older people playing guitars or whomever, right?
yeah, absolutely. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure you get a big stack of stickers, because when they leave with that guitar, I want you to go listen to us on the show and listen to your episode on the show.
Word.
Okay, I wanted to mention here, I got some great mail from one of our absolute favorite people in the whole wide world, Martin Cliff, who's had his own episode, supporting the show for a long time, and he said he's still over in Europe. He's a traveling man. He's a worldly fellow.
Yes, he is.
And I think we don't really fully have a grasp on the gear hoarder that he might be. It's impressive. Okay, he said, "Hey, loved this week's chat about Guitar Heroes." So this was a little bit ago. Although I seem to be playing more bass than guitar these days, I reckon I can easily pick 4 guitarists who were hugely influential to me, but maybe less appreciated than the Satrianis of the world. My list, in the order I discovered them, not necessarily my order of preference. Richie Sambora, ex-Bon Jovi. Stephen Rothery from Marillion. Never heard that.
That's a new one.
Well,
Cool.
Billy, you
Really?
lit up on that.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a word.
Yes. Royne Stolt of the Flower Kings / Transatlantic. I don't know. I feel like he's going to drop King Crimson stuff on us at any point in time right now. And then Trey Anastasio from Fish.
Yeah.
He said, honorable mention to Jerry Garcia, of course. Cheers, guys. Thanks so much for sending that, Martin. We love hearing from you.
3 fingers, man.
Yeah, we hope you're doing really well out wherever you are in the European world. All right, Johnny Morales, now that we've heard from Martin Cliff, we would love to hear what your 4 guitar heroes might be.
Okay, so I'm all over the board, and my first one that comes to mind is a more modern guitar player, Alex Rosamilia from the band The Gaslight Anthem.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he is a very great lead guitar player who is just kind of subtle and in the pocket. If you go watch his rig rundown, he is very enthusiastic about his gear and his ginormous pedal board. For a band, especially that you would just kind of think of as a punk rock band or a punk adjacent rock band, when I think it, which is really weird, being that I love offsets and Jags and Jazz Masters, but I think of him when I think of Jaguars for some reason. So Alex Rosamilia, as a kid, I grew up not really into some of the guitar gods that everyone else are like worship. So one for me was Robbie Krieger from The Doors.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Of course, man.
I don't even play like Robbie Krieger, that flamenco style. I just remember discovering The Doors, and that was kind of like my band as a kid that I fell in love with. And just that style, that vibe, that whole energy that The Doors did and Robbie Krieger did, that is, very inspirational to me. I would say if I had to come up with anybody else on the fly, it would probably be Tom Verlaine. Television.
Yeah, he just passed.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, he just passed away, and I love television, and I love 77 punk and that post-punk era that were influenced by those bands and those early television. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this: do you like Verlaine better or Richard Lloyd?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, songwriting wise, I guess you could say Richard Lloyd, probably just from like an overall songwriter perspective. Mm-hmm. But Verlaine, just in those sweet pockets that of melody he would create with his style, I gravitate a little bit more to that.
Well, both of them together were just, I mean, that whole band, I mean, that was the sound. And then Richard Lloyd went on, the first 2, I think, Matthew Sweet albums, and the guitar work on those is just out of this world. So, wow.
That was a whole
brilliant
weird thing. The whole Matthew Sweet thing came and dropped in, and then everybody was like, he's a god, and then poof, he's gone.
Well, he's still around, but, the weird thing is, I suspect, because I've heard the very first Matthew Sweet album, and it sounded And then I suspect when Girlfriend was being recorded, it sounded So somebody says, hey, I know this guy, Richard Lloyd. He could probably spice it up a little bit. And you can almost hear his guitar. A lot of his guitar work is overdub work.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was there during the initial recording.
Gotcha.
That would be my suspicion.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. So that's
3.
3. Number 4.
That's the thing I'm struggling the most with. I would say another modern guitar player that I absolutely, absolutely love, Jessica Dobson from the band Deep Sea Diver. She has also worked with, I'm trying to remember his name, Beck. She's been on a bunch of records, but Jessica Dobson's band, Deep Sea Diver, is such a great band overall. But her guitar playing style also plays a lot of jazz masters, also plays a lot of offset guitars. But her style, super jangly. That woman can play the hell out of a pedal board as well as her jazz master in unison and create these almost rhythmic percussion-like jangly fuzz tones while singing. And watching her hands when she's like doing a solo, standing up just on a monitor, she's awesome, and I love that band. And yeah, she's just an amazing guitar player, and the way that she dances between her very percussive style and her pedal board, and how it kind of works in this beautiful yin and yang dance. Jessica Dobson, look Deep Sea Diver up.
Will do.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Always love hearing new influences, new bands, all kinds of stuff. That's great, man.
Thanks.
Let's get on to what's going on in our music worlds this week, gentlemans. We're going to start off with Tony Bolonsky over here, and then we're going to check in with Johnny, and then just go around the horn.
Well, in this morning's mail,
Yes.
the March 2023 Vintage
I
Guitar
know, that
Magazine.
just seems like yesterday, I'm sure.
Yeah, I remember that just like it was yesterday, Sonny. But this one, I had a chance to kind of peruse through it slightly. This is a really good issue. It's a Jeff Beck Memoriam issue, and there is a lot of really interesting, just quotes and basically everybody that enjoyed listening to Jeff Beck. They were the reflections and different things like that. It was really it's an excellent couple of. It's actually about 10 pages long when all is said and done, and really cool issue. And again, that's we talked a little bit about Jeff Beck. I think the week after he passed, and it's just really. I think the world of music lost a really great guitar player, and I think this is the first paragraph of the introduction, and it's from when Jimmy Page. It was his induction to Jeff Beck's induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he said he'd just keep getting better and better and better, and he still has all the way through. He leaves us mere mortals, believe me, just wondering and having so much respect for him. So a guy like James Page can say that about this guy. That says a hell of a lot to me.
Yeah, indeed. I think Billy had the same sentiment, almost word for word, which is weird, but anyways, that's cool. Yeah, I know you like reading those.
Yeah, this Vintage Guitar Magazine is one of my favorites. I mean, that's the one that I subscribe to.
Job.
And it's there's always great articles and information on weird, oddball kinds of things.
Pretty soon they're gonna have to start printing everything really big. Anyways,
for what? For people that can't see well, whose arms are too short.
For vintage readers.
yeah, vintage readers.
You're so mean, Todd.
Whatever.
Johnny.
It's funny because it's true. All right, let's go to Johnny.
Okay, so our week has just started at the shop. Just starting the week off today. We have a whole wall of new repairs that we got to work through. But for me personally, I have been, some say it's a problem. I say it's a disease, but I have a thing for Jaguars and Jazzmasters, and I have a thing for fixing them and modding them and hunting them down. And I would say in the last maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I've found 5 Squire J. Mascis Jazzmasters, maybe 4. that I've been doing different things to, whether it's rewiring it and changing out pickups or pick guards or whatever.
Now this I'm very interested in because I love those as they come stock, but then also I've seen different mods. So what's your favorite combination? That's so cool.
So I can't leave well enough alone, and as
like
good
me.
as they are, yeah, right. Yeah, you put a sparkly gold pickguard on as soon as something walks in the door. I'm similar, where a J Mascis I'll find, and specifically, I'm very specific. It has to be one of the earlier ones with the rosewood fingerboards, the CY serial numbers.
Yeah.
Those I go after. And if I could find them at a good price, a lot of the times what I end up doing is just putting the neck on other Jazz Masters because I love that neck. That guitar neck is like, for whatever reason, it's the neck to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can't explain why, but I have some really fancy Jazz Masters in the shop right now. I've played vintage ones. I'll just take those necks and put them on builds. Now, specifically what I did with the most recent one, I rewired it and tried 1 meg pots in both the rhythm and lead section. Put in some mastery components. Obviously, the bridge is the Tune-O-Matic, so I'm just deciding on whether or not I'm going to fill and re-drill the holes. But this one specifically, I ordered the new Fender J Mascis pickups to try out because if you've never watched the Working Class Music YouTube channel demos, I got curious. I got the bug after watching their demo of those pickups. So this one I'm wiring up and changing the pickguard out and doing a bunch of stuff and getting ready to put those pickups into it.
Bueno.
Way cool. Very cool.
Now,
Very
Tony, you aside from being an encyclopedia of old stuff.
Thank you.
No. I mean that in like the.
You might be asking the wrong person because I've got a 62.
Well, in the sense of
Go ahead.
like, guitars and parts and stuff, not just things that are old. that from an all parts standpoint, is that something you could get yourself, like a J Mascis, like all parts profile neck?
No.
Okay.
I think that they did a special profile carve for that model, which is why Johnny might like it. I think now are you talking about the Fenders or the Squier J Mascis?
The Squiers specifically.
Yeah, I mean and we were talking a little earlier in the Squier. I mean that is to me one of the best bargains out there. For some reason in the world of Squier, they really did a great job on putting everything together nicely. And I mean I've probably played a half dozen of the Squier J Mascis, and I've played a couple of the Fender ones, and I have to say I think I like the Squier ones better. But
I agree. In
terms of Todd, you'd asked about finding a neck like that. Probably not, because a lot of, like, for instance, all parts, they get their necks from Japan, and I believe it might be the Terada factory or somebody, but I believe it's the same company that makes necks for Fender. But
I love those necks.
They do just a generic. They're a little bit thinner. If if you'd like a thin neck, the all part stuff is pretty good.
I like them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that do. But I would you say, Johnny, the Squier, the J Mascis ones are a little bit thicker?
I would say I wouldn't say thick. I would say that they're much more of a handful.
Yeah, meaty. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way, like, the satin finish, the way that it breaks in, I've never, knock on wood, I've never played one that came with bad frets, specifically the rosewood fingerboards from the first 2 years. Those ones specifically.
Yeah.
they have a more meat to them, and they just fit so comfortably in my hand.
Yeah.
And I got little mitts too, so.
Well, there you go.
That's very cool.
But yeah, good choice. I mean, that is, and it's a great platform too because they're not outrageously expensive, and you can upgrade pickups if you want. Although the stock pickups that I've heard don't sound bad.
They sound awesome.
Yeah. So they're
P90s. They're
Yeah.
not Jazzmaster pickups, but
Yeah. But they're in a under a Jazzmaster cover though, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So there you have it.
I dig it.
Yeah.
That's
Buy
what-
every
that's
J
what's
Mask
gonna-
Esquire Jazzmaster
Here we
that you
go.
can find.
Well,
Price
I'll
just
tell
went
you.
up.
I'll tell you, they discontinued them, and after they did the original run, and then they moved into the Palfaro versions, and then the Indian Laurel versions, or Laurel, however the hell you say it. The Rosewood ones, people ask the moon for.
Ah, okay.
Like, they've gotten to the point of people asking $1,000 or more.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's wild. So if you do find one cheap, ship it to me.
Wow.
Nice.
Good to know.
All right, Billy.
Yeah, sure. So this week I played with my Rolling Stones cover band, the Flynns, and the reason I'm bringing this up is that I had been rehearsing with an old '74 Music Master bass to kind of get that short scale Bill Wyman sound. Mm-hmm. But on some of the newer stuff, it didn't have quite the
punch.
yeah, quite the meat that it needed. So, but the other reason I was using the short scale was that it was light on my back because I had back surgery. So this gig was the first time I've been able to play my Music Master bass. It's a classic Stingray.
Okay.
That
Music
was that was a Guitar Center special with the bird's eye maple neck and the white pick guard and the white pickup,
Nice.
and it's Fiesta Red.
Ooh.
That's cool.
So anyway,
You can see
I was-
that all the way.
and
But
I
was
had
in
a
the
strap.
back
I
of the
found
venue.
a strap. I found a strap that like holds it perfectly, and I was just like so thrilled that I could perform with that bass.
Yeah, those
for
tend to
weigh 3 hours of Rolling Stones tunes.
Yeah, the pre-Ernie Ball ones tend to be a little hefty, aren't they?
Yeah, it's got some weight. I mean,
Yeah.
Now, curious, why did you choose that over like a P bass or something? Because that has a very specific kind of pickup in it, and
Mine has the two band active EQ,
okay,
so I can crank the bass or the treble and quite nicely imitate the sound of a P bass or bring it up for the funky kind of stuff,
Right.
like Miss You, stuff like that. So that's why I used that bass. So anyway, in rehearsals, I had tried a Fender P bass that was the same one that Duff McKagan used for
appetite.
yeah, with it's white with the black. It's made in Japan, and it's got a really unique pickup combination and control scheme, and it kind of worked because it's got a little bit narrow neck than a P bass, but it's got the P bass body, and it was the right weight, but still the sound was not quite up to the classic Stingray. But anyway.
Well, there you go.
So you like a narrow neck?
That's the answer. Yeah, I do like a narrow neck. Yeah,
I should have brought you Stinky. I still need to bring
Well,
you Stinky.
it depends. It depends.
So you can play with it.
I
You can play with it.
I do have a Fender P bass that's my favorite, and it's got the wide neck, and it's great for funk. I love playing funk on that wide P bass neck.
Yeah.
But when you're playing a whole 3-hour gig,
Yeah.
it can it can be a little bit much.
Yeah.
Oh,
I need to bring in Stinky. I will do that next one. I want you to tell me what you think of it.
yeah. Okay. Cool.
Well, maybe he has certain requirements
He might.
and certain levels.
I'll
Smells
give you my opinion.
Correct.
It does smell. So let's see here. Jared.
Oh man. So last week I was in the lab at Gibson doing Gibson lab things, and my boss texted me, and I saw that there are new pickups that Fender put out that are Kunafee loaded, and I was like,
Explain
pretty
that
cool.
for the rest of the world.
Kunafee is a magnet that the industry stopped making in the late 70s, early 80s, and pickup enthusiasts like myself and other people, Tony and Johnny, know what Kunafee is. Like, that's what Fender used for about 10 years.
Copper,
And
nickel, iron.
And it's a very easy magnet to shape and
Thread.
and to sculpt and to thread and to put a slot in and make shiny at the top. And good old Steve Shaw has been working for Fender for a good long while now, and he set up a plant. I think Fender bought the plant, a magnet plant, just to make Kunafee, to bring it back.
Wow.
Is that what
brought
they
it
used
back.
in like the Tele bridge pickups? Like
No,
neck pickups, the customs,
the neck
deluxes,
pickups,
right?
the customs, thin lines, and deluxes.
The wide range humbuckers.
Yep, wide range.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's the only thing they used them for back in the day. So Tim Shaw brings Kunafee back in 2020. We saw it at NAMM. I was excited. I'm like, this is awesome, because I was looking for Kunafee for a long time for my own business at the time. And then I learned that, Fender was very smart, and, they own the actual factory, so nobody else is going to get their hand on it, with the exception of my guy, Curtis Novak, because he's done a lot of business with Fender in the past. But they came out with some new models, and one of them, so they have some single coils, and you
screen
can
tops too.
They have this
Yeah, they look cool.
single coils that you can back in and out, and with the Kunafee magnets. And then they have what Lawler and all the other boutique guys have been making for years, which is I'm pulling a Billy here. I lost my damn brain.
Okay, cool.
A Jazzmaster pickups.
We're starting to
Hang
get
on,
easy.
let me clap that really quick.
So they also have the Jazzmaster pickups with the Kunafee, and that's it. Basically, it's a wide range inside of a Jazzmaster pickup casing that you can put in your Jazzmasters.
So, in your opinion, does that magnet make much tonal difference in like a stock single coil pickup?
I'm not here to talk bad about Fender, but I'll tell you about my because I like that they brought the Kunafee back just for a vintage sake. Mm-hmm. But I tested all Nico 3, real Kunafee, and Fairco, which was the substitute for Kunafee for many years. They are all around the same magnetic strength. All of them. They're all the same. So tonal wise, I think people are going to hear with their eyes in this case.
Okay.
But just the fact that they brought it back and it's vintage and it's something that hasn't been around for a long time, I say good for them. Yeah, I like it.
That's cool.
So I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of Tim Shaw and what he's done for Gibson, what he's done for Fender. So I kind of look up to him, and hopefully we can catch up with stuff like that. It's great that Fender's is finally getting into the stuff that the boutique world's been doing for a long time.
So
that's
I'm just trying to figure out what would have attracted Tim Shaw to a magnet company.
The fact that you could not.
It's a magnet company.
It's a magnet joke.
Come on.
I think it was.
What are you?
Well,
Jack.
you can't.
I get it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a serious
Please.
question
Yeah.
about those magnets? Does the material make them softer and more pliable?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why they
So
use
that's
it.
So that's the whole shtick with it, is that it's just easier to mold into single coils, wide range, Jazzmaster pickups, whatever.
It's easier to mold it in the shape that it is, as it looks like a screw. You can actually thread the magnet itself. That's why they used that in the old days, and it got expensive to make though. So Ferrico is a much more cost effective way of making a magnet pliable, to slot it at the top, to thread it, to be able to use it in the application that Kunafi used to be used in.
Okay.
There you go. Pickups.
Yay, Fender.
All right. Ask me, Tony.
Todd.
Yes.
Todd. What?
Well,
Todd, what
this
about
week-
you this week, Todd?
I had a show with the Cramps.
What?
Yes. I played with the Cramps this last week.
What?
Yes. It's true. I was up on stage and my hand started cramping.
I saw it. I witnessed as he came out of the cramp.
Billy was like, Billy. Little Ted Knight for you there. Yeah, I had a show and it was super fun, but about halfway through, like my hand just freaking totally cramped up and I couldn't hold the pick.
So it wasn't like trigger finger or anything.
I don't know what trigger finger
like
is.
when you get a finger that does this.
Well, nobody can see what you're doing, Tony.
like you're
down
into,
and it doesn't come back up.
Yeah.
That's when
No.
it locks
Yeah.
down.
Yeah,
You can't bring it back
Oh,
up.
you mean like Matt's pinky thing?
Yeah, like
From
it
Howling
comes
Commandos?
down, and
No,
then,
my- it
and then you
doesn't-
try to, and then
no,
you
I just
try to pop
couldn't.
it back up.
I
again.
just my thumb and my forefinger. I
just
couldn't
couldn't
I couldn't
grip.
close it. And I was like, what the? So I was doing that.
I got two words for you.
Yeah.
Duct tape.
Seriously, I'm literally gonna do that next
It was
time.
sort
I'm
of
not
like a
even kidding.
Back to the Future moment, you know, where he's just like all of a sudden he can't play. It's like,
It threw me off so bad. And so I was just like, well, this is
Michael
what
J.
I'm doing.
Fox.
And
your
I was like,
pants are not gonna be together.
I got a solo coming up here. So I basically just kind of claw hammered for the whole song. It's like, it was, but I got it done.
yeah,
I got it done.
Yeah.
Hey, well, that's what you got to do. I mean, that could be your new technique now.
I mean,
Claw hammer.
yeah, it was really weird. I mean, the old banjo guy who was he like early he was like his name was like Clawhammer Jones or something like that.
Grandpa Jones.
Grandpa Jones? No,
Yeah,
no.
Grandpa Jones.
No, there was a claw
Clawhammer
there was a
Jones.
There was a Clawhammer. His main, I don't know if his name is Jones. Look it up.
Smith.
Smith maybe, but there was a guy.
Is that
He had
the
a
guy that wore
technique.
his pants
No,
way
he-
down low.
He had a technique of like of playing the string beat. If you look if you hold your hands out like rawr, that's how he played it. That's how I was doing it. I was like, well,
Raring to go.
and I tell you what, I'm not even joking. This is legit. When I was trying to, I knew the solo thing was coming up, and I was like,
You did a nice job of improv, like figuring out how to get through it, man. That was
yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so the solo's coming up, and I was starting to panic because like we're moving, like our music's it's got heavy attack, so I can't sit around and wait for like, oh, here comes the bass solo. I'm gonna walk over and grab a pick. I don't have that kind of time. I'm the attacker of the whole thing.
Wow.
So I remembered. Wait a minute, Andy Martin.
Ah.
If he can do it, that doesn't mean I can do it. But I tried my hardest, and I got it out. Somehow I eked it out, and like the other guys couldn't even. They were like, "Wow, you did it." It's like, yes, but more importantly, what's going on with my hand?
Wow.
So it was really fun, and I also did the cardinal sin of not joking. 15 minutes before I packed up my car, I said, I wonder if I put this pedal in front of this, and I had my pedal board in pieces.
Oh my god!
That's what it was.
I thought you were going to say you ran through Taco Bell drive-through.
No.
That's a far worse.
No,
mistake.
I learned my lesson with that a long time ago.
No,
I
I saw they actually spoke up. I think their publicist spoke up and they proved that Taco Bell does not cause that. And they actually came out and made a statement because
Well, of course they did. Yes. No, there's no science
It's
behind
perfectly
that.
safe.
We don't know what you're talking about. It's all organic vegan. That's all organic
No,
vegan.
it's because Taco Bell started using kunai.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Their whole
These
menu
are
now.
doo-doo free burritos.
Yes, definitely much more easy to mold.
Yes.
It tastes the same, but it's not made with the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's vintage.
Yes. Some of it might be.
Little too vintage.
So, anyways,
Well, that's so. Is that like the first time that ever happened to you that you just kind of handcranked
no,
up?
it wasn't. That's probably like the second or third time in my career that's happened, and so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
When's
make
your
an
doctor
appointment to see a doctor. Yeah, no, for real. Like I got to
Yeah,
do something
right.
about it because it's like it got into my head that time. I was like, it was like I was there, but I was outside of myself for like 2 songs. And it was a bummer because I was in the moment. I was like ripping it up, and I was like, yeah, and then all of a sudden I wasn't in the moment, and that was a terrible
Was it
feeling.
because of that cold? Like sometimes in the cold, like there's that condition where you can get up to your finger. Or
it was
just
in
like,
it's like in the tendon and the muscle of like the butt of your thumb. You know, that big giant muscle in my thumb just like swelled up like super big, and yeah. Anyways, so more to come on that. And by the way, if there's any hand doctors listening, love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
But let's get on to bigger and better things.
You know, Todd.
That's right, Tony. Tour Gear Designs patch cables.
Yep.
They're pretty great. I personally use them.
You do good, right? So you're with
because
us.
of you guys.
They're fantastic.
I heard they cause cramps in your hands.
They don't. But I'll tell you what. You know, when I just mentioned that I had my
Yeah,
board
you
pulled
said
apart?
that's what I was going to talk about before you rudely interrupted me and crushed my soul with your cynicism.
Yes. So when I had the board all pulled apart,
That's what I was going to say.
yes. When
What did you use to patch it back
Well,
together?
it was great because I had all the different. I've got a bunch of different lengths. I've got a bunch of different orientations. So C-shaped and S-shaped.
Do you have them labeled?
So I didn't have to sit there and go, oh no, how am I going to put this all together and not have cables
easy.
all over the place and everything? It was great.
It's easy.
But
It
you know
is.
what I like best
What's that?
is you can go to the Tour Gear Designs website, put a ton of these cables in your basket.
You're going to want a bunch of them.
And when you go to checkout, there's a little section that says coupon code. And if you type in the guitar knobs, all lowercase, all one word,
10%, baby.
you're going to save an extra 10%
That's
right.
on top of, and you know, in my opinion, these are probably the most reasonably priced patch cables that you're going to find.
And
They
most reliable. They're
And they
fantastic.
take up less space. They're
pull my
flat.
board apart all the time.
Yes. So do it. Just
Do
go. Tour Gear Designs.
Right on. Thank you to Tour Gear Designs for sponsoring our 4 on the Floor. Jared?
Let me get a little bit of this.
Lean into that one. All right, here we go.
The master.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor.
All right, Johnny Morales of Oakland Guitars and Guitar Knobs Patronage. What is your 4 on the Floor?
Okay, so I'm going to start with probably my oldest pedal on my board, not in terms of vintage or not, but what's been on my board the longest. And if it got stolen tomorrow, I'd replace it today. That is the Earthquaker Devices Ghost Echo, specifically the V1 and the V2.
Okay.
I love those pedals. I love that pedal. It is a very dark, haunting kind of an echoey reverb. And it was the first boutique, I guess you could say the first boutique pedal I bought myself in 2015 or 16. I bought it purely on looks. I had no idea what it was. I love that pedal. I think it's an incredibly versatile and cool, dark, moody reverb echo thing. And it's awesome. I love it. The next one is Native Audio, The Wilderness.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, Mikey.
I absolutely love this pedal. I bought this pedal in a period of before owning the shop and before I'm a dealer of their products, of their pedals. But before that, I actually found this pedal at a gear swap in Berkeley. There was like this rummage sale gear swap thing. And I was super burnt out with pedals. I just couldn't stand what else. Like I couldn't stand everything that was coming out. I was just bored. I was not inspired by any pedals. And I bought it in a bulk load of pedals that I bought. And it was still in the box. I got it for a really good price. And I didn't touch it for like a month. And finally I pulled it out and just was wanting to see if it worked and how it sounded and blah, blah, blah. And I plugged it in and didn't realize, but like an hour and a half later, I was still turning knobs and just eyes closed, doing the, hipster, playing my Jazz Master really high up onto my chest, rocking back and forth in my office at home. And that pedal, I absolutely love The Wilderness. It is the most musical, prettiest delay pedal. And I swear by it.
Well, that's quite an endorsement. That's very cool.
I think so.
Him and his wife stayed at our place for a few nights a few months ago, and we were discussing his pedals and the direction he was going. And in the beginning, his stuff was, I don't want to say complicated, but it had a lot. There was a lot in one, and he kind of 180'd that, and now they're very simple to use, but they still sound amazing. He's one of the good ones in my opinion. I'm glad you brought him up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a friend of mine really loves his stuff and literally buys everything he owns. And he kept telling me to check him out. But I was so burnt out. I'm like, I don't care about anything else right now. And then I stumbled on this pedal and I love it. It's the best thing. Moving down my board, I guess my next pedal, we're going to get into Dirt World. The Benson amps preamp, specifically the Thunder Road Guitars Pink Paisley one.
Oh.
I've had 3 of them, but they're all the same, just different art. I love the Benson preamp. I love Benson amps in general. Chris Benson is a genius when it comes to amps, in my opinion. And that pedal is such a versatile little preamp pedal. You can get some gnarly sounds out of it. You can get just some nice crispy sounds out of it. Add a little bit of just character to your tone. And I love that pedal. I typically have it kind of dimed in terms of the drive setting, treble a little bit lower, because I play Jazz Masters. So, that is probably that'll never go off the board ever.
I got to give a quick shout out. Chris was on one of our earliest shows, number 59.
Oh my God, was it that long ago?
It was that long ago. And
a minute.
He was like the premier boutique amp builder at the time. It pretty much probably still is, I guess.
I remember that.
And
the logo reminds me of like Miller Lite, right?
Kind of, a little bit. But I just appreciate that in his in all that he's doing, he took time to spend with us in early fledgling days.
Yeah.
And I think at 59 episodes, we thought like, well, look where we're going. We're moving up in the world with 59 episodes. And we were just chump change then, and he did it with us, and I was really appreciative of that.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart of a human. I've met him. He invited me to the shop before, and he's really nice. Really, really down to earth human.
Yeah.
And I guess my last
Yeah.
4 on the floor is anybody familiar with the pedal 10 years?
No.
10 years. Oh.
Hang on.
All right,
I'm going to see
so-
if I've seen it before. Keep going.
You've probably seen it. Their Instagram handle is 10 years is a decade. It's bright pink and has like this super 90s font in blue. Well,
I'm a fan.
the 10 years pedal is essentially, if I'm understanding correctly, I hope I'm getting this right because I'm a dealer for them.
$600.
That's not the retail. That's the crazy reverb prices.
Okay.
Oh. So they're
So Annie Clark, St. Vincent, commissioned this pedal to get made. That's my understanding. Don't yell at me if I'm wrong, but that's what I understand. The 10 years is essentially a PV decade in a box. And with a better tone stack and tone sweep, it is, you have your normal, your saturation, your pre and post volumes that you could set, as well as, the standard low, mid, highs. This pedal is it's like the always on pedal. Whether you're in the normal mode or you put it in saturation, the saturation, if you just dime every single knob, you start to get little like flips and flobs and like crackles and cool breakups, and it's super gnarly. But when you have it in the normal setting and you like adjust the EQs with your highs down really low and your mids like kind of center stage, and turn your pre and posts, you play with those a little bit, it just colors your sound in a really, really musical and lovely way. Kick it into saturation and it sounds it's hot off the press is hot. And I love this pedal. It's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
So is this in response to Josh Homey's declaration that the PV decade is the key to his sound?
So it's kind of, so Annie Clark, who's St. Vincent, she also apparently, my understanding is a big fan of the PV decade.
Wow.
And use that amp as well, my understanding. And yeah, this is kind of to scratch that itch a little bit. And 10 years, Gus has been really good to me. I think I'm like one of 2 people who outside of his website sells his pedals. Don't quote me on that, but they're awesome limited batch stuff. The packaging and case, like box candy, is some of the best. It comes with a little baseball card, and the stats are like people who play the PV decade, and it's just really kitschy and cute.
That is cool.
Wow.
We just pulled it up on the monitor.
Yeah, they're great pedals. I highly recommend checking them out. If anybody wants to check one out, stop by the shop. I have one left. So yeah,
Well,
those are my 4.
You know who else is doing something like that? Acorn has a similar thing, which is it's based on the
I need to
decade.
try that.
Yeah.
I need to try that pedal.
It looks like the amp. And
Yeah, it
Acorn,
does. It looks rad.
those guys are super, super cool. Definitely hit them up. They make some really neat stuff.
I need to peep that pedal. I've seen it on Instagram and YouTube and stuff. And the only reason why I even have this pedal and carry it, the same guy who I mentioned earlier, who is a big Native Audio fan, he also buys every single colorway of the 10 years pedal. And he's the only one on the back of the baseball card who isn't like a well-known musician whose name is on
That's cool.
the card. Shout out to Scooter. Scooter is the cat who kept saying, you need to check out Negative Audio. You need to check out this 10 years pedal. Check it out, check it out, check it out. And I'm like, man, I'm burnt out. Check this out, check this out. And then finally he was like, I'm going to introduce you.
Apparently, that's the key to getting cool stuff. You just say, "Man, I'm burnt out. I don't have any time for that." And then someone will shove it down your throat, and you're like, "Fine." and then
Yep.
you get the good stuff.
Yeah, like a brat that I am. I'm like, I don't want to check it out. And then I'm pleasantly surprised and blown away about how talented all of these awesome builders are.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's super cool. Well, speaking of awesome builders, in the line that we're talking about, you happen to help facilitate a lot of exposure to other guitar players who may not know some of these cool builders and whatnot. So you've got a store in Oakland, aptly named Oakland Guitars. And I actually, I think I mentioned this a while back because I said that you were going to be on the show, but I didn't realize it was you. And I just reached out and I'm like, hey, I really like what you do at the store. And he's like, oh, hey. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. That's yes. I knew it was you all the time.
This is my little
It's actually
game.
a new thing for us. So for me, I'm one of two owners. My partner, Teresa, both in life as well as like having kids and now owning a guitar shop.
Wow, it's like you guys are like Bob's Burgers.
Yes, very much so. We moved a kid to college, had a baby, and opened a guitar store within like a month and a half of each other. I don't recommend it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, all at
So
21.
it's-
That's amazing.
Yeah, right. So when you didn't make the connection, I don't actually blame you, because at that point it was relatively new. It still is it's still super new to us that we opened and own Oakland Guitars.
How
So,
wild is
it's
that
okay.
for you? Like just to like wake up and go, oh, I own a guitar store. How cool is that?
Well, it's number one. I still look at like my shirts, my signs. A friend of ours, RJ, he just made us some amazing stickers. Check out our Instagram page, and you can see him, the little fuzzball Murph, we call him. I still get really blown away and just am humbled and shocked that we've been able to build this. Not only that I'm a guitar player who's passionate about gear and guitars and builders and stuff, but also the lineage of the shop. I don't know if you're all familiar with, but this store has actually been a store for almost 10 years now. The guitar store that I own, Oakland Guitars, is the new iteration of what was once here. And what was once here was called Broken Guitars.
Okay.
And Broken Guitars was it was owned by one of the members of Green Day, has a very big tie and connection to the Bay Area. I've been friends with the other owner, Bill, for a very long time through being just a shop rat. And it still blows my mind that my favorite guitar store that I remember coming into in 2015 when it opened up I'm sitting in it, and it's mine now.
It's amazing.
I could not have ever guessed that this is the trajectory I would have ended up. So it's mind blowing.
It's super cool. I mean, and I know very little. Candidly, I know very little about the store, but everything I've seen, I can tell there's something special about it. There's something, whether it's the look on the people's faces in there, the just the shots that you have in the inside of the store, talking with you. It is not just a shop where you go buy something. I think that at least to me, is coming through. Hopefully that's true.
Yeah,
but that's the vibe I get.
I hope so too. Yeah. Thank you for like acknowledging that and highlighting that, because that is, Teresa and I are both very, we're both in line with, we don't want just a guitar store. We want a music shop that is community focused and community minded. And her being a woman, my oldest is a transgender boy who's also a bass player. She has experienced so many negative situations in guitar stores. Me going in with my oldest and seeing his experiences in guitar stores. We want our guitar store to be a place that you walk into and you are seen and you are heard, and you are not only welcome, but you're, my shop. I tell this to my people who walk in all the time. My shop's your shop.
Yeah.
Please pick up and play whatever you want. Don't be shy. And if you are shy, that's okay. I'm here to help.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's really important to us that you're not coming in here. And it's okay to come in here and just buy a strap or just buy strings. I sell those things, and I sell straps made by amazing people. But I do want people to come in and feel like they're not being judged. And I don't care where you are in your musical ability. I'm going to talk to you and meet you wherever you are. And I want to celebrate that with you. And I want to lift that up. So that it's corny to say, but I really want our store to be a transformational kind of a experience for people.
That's cool.
I'd like to tell a story that supports what you're, getting across here. I have a favorite guitar shop that I grew up with and went to all the time. And I dreamed about getting the Fender or the Gibson or whatever that I wasn't even close to being able to afford at the time. And I know somebody who took over that store, and they don't have the same view as you do. And unfortunately it's not successful. So I think, I just wanted to, it's heartbreaking for me personally, but I just wanted to say that and to support what you're saying. Cause I think it's going to work. I think you're going to do great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's also heartbreaking to hear, because we need guitar shops, music spaces need to progress, right? We need to be, if we want the guitar and music and all this stuff to be as impactful as it should be and has been to every single one of us, listening and in this conversation, why not cast a wider net, right? Why not welcome any walk of life and celebrate that, right? No matter where they are, whether they be 12 years old and coming in and ripping, I don't know, whatever band that's big songs, their riffs, or somebody who is an accomplished musician who is looking for that next thing, or in everything in between, right? Let's just celebrate everybody and lift everyone up. That's, yeah.
Super cool, man.
Thanks.
What do you think is like something that people seem to be really interested in that are going in your shop? Like what are you maybe surprised that people are gravitating towards?
So I'm my spot is really small, and real estate is really tight in here. And so primarily it's a used instrument shop. What I'm trying to focus on with the new products that I carry are local builders, amp makers, pedal builders, strat makers, strings, stuff like that. One of the things recently that I've brought into the shop, Gabriel Tenero's guitar strings. Mm-hmm. I swear by those Jazzmaster and Jaguar strings. I love them. I put them on my personal guitars, and they're kind of pricey. I was a little nervous about putting in a big order and getting his stuff in here, because I was like, I'm all about it and I'm passionate about it, but I don't know if people are going to be down to drop, $25 on a set of strings. The overwhelming reception that those strings have gotten in my shop, and people who've come out, and when I tell the story and I talk about Gabriel's product, that has been something recently that has just kind of blown me away. Another one of the products that I carry, one of the builder makers that I carry, Rocket Music. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but Haley at Rocket Music, this gal who is in Modesto, not too far from us, local, makes guitar straps and really cool pick holders that are 3D printed. And her guitar straps are she's 20-something years old, did this as a joke in response to the outrage of Phoebe Bridgers smashing a guitar, made a strap that says "Girls Smash Guitars," and then blew up and is all over social media, makes LED straps that are 3D printed, makes cool holographic stuff, makes funny, kitschy little like 90s print guitar straps. The overwhelmingly positive response people have shown to those guitar straps has been pretty rad to see too.
Cool.
We're just looking at it on just trying to pull it up online here. So, and that's Rockit, not Rockette.
Correct. ROCKIT, Rocket Music Gear.
Yeah. That is super cool. I love when people stumble into something and it becomes something that everybody else is like, I've been waiting for that. You know?
Yeah, it's wild. And how I met Haley and met Rocket Music Gear, it was literally on Instagram, was like, I told Teresa and I were like, all right, we have the budget to start the shop with like maybe one or two exclusive things or one or two unique things to this store. And I reached out over Instagram and was just like, hey, we're going to open this guitar store. Would you be interested in like maybe selling us some straps? Is that something you do? And I stumbled into it and Haley was just like, absolutely. What do you want? And brought us a bunch of stuff. And you know, I got to meet her dad and her boyfriend. And they just came a couple weeks ago and shot a bunch of demos here of pedals. They were like, can we shoot content at your store? And I was like, absolutely. Here's gear. Go. And it was, I stumbled onto them and they're local. They're literally 45 minutes, an hour away. So, it had that local connection that I wanted. You know, it's showcasing, diversity from a builder's perspective and a maker's perspective. And Rocket, you can't get her straps anywhere else. I believe I'm the only dealer, which other music shops, you should carry her stuff. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Did she make any wide ones? Like for bass?
She actually just, I think earlier this week, announced like a 3-inch wide bass strap.
All right.
Wow.
That's what I need.
Yeah, so
awesome.
you can get the 3-inch wide and the red foil, dude.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Super neat.
She makes this really cool one that's like, it's almost like a mood ring. The strap is brown, but it reacts to your body heat and turns into a bunch of different colors.
Yeah. Thermographic.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Well, that's really cool. It's a good story behind it. I mean, I think it you don't have to constantly tell that story. That's the kind that something starts to get out where if people know that they're going to be able to go to a shop that has really unique things and things that you are paying attention to as far as trying to make them either local or like super boutique or hard to get or have got a great story behind it, they're going to take, like, that's what a storied shop starts to become. I think it's worth mentioning is like when you go to Nashville or something, you go to another town, it's like you don't go, hey, let's go walk around and see if we can find a Guitar Center. You say,
right,
I want to find a guitar shop because I'm going to find something that I can't find at these other places that's either weird and used or like, yeah, my buddy makes these things. Oh, that's cool, you know? That it's just it's part of the lore that we subscribe to as being in the guitar, you know, world as enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes it more fun, right?
Yeah. Like when you get a shop find and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what is this? I got to have this. I've been watching a lot of, I watched the whole series of the Gibson collection.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's really neat to see a lot of these guys like Mike Campbell and stuff, you know, from Tom Petty, just like talking about like, yeah, we were in the shop and we were traveling through Pennsylvania. And I stopped in the shop and blah blah blah. And I don't know, this thing just spoke to me. And it's like, he didn't order it online. He didn't go to anywhere. And I'm not saying you only have to go to one of those places, but it's the serendipity aspect of encountering it.
That's my favorite
really
word,
special.
Todd.
Is it
That's
really?
my favorite word, serendipity. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a movie named after that.
There is. John Cusack's in it. Anyways,
That's right.
So, point being, keep doing that and providing people an opportunity to get these things. Because one of the big prohibitors of getting unique gear is that sometimes it costs a little bit more. And if you don't have an opportunity to see it like face to face, to experience it, to pick it up, to play it, to check out the neck on it or something like that, it just makes it harder. So you providing the opportunity to do that is super helpful.
Well, thanks. We're hoping to continue to do it for a long time. And that's the thing that, as we continue to grow, I want to start carrying more boutique guitars, building, specifically, maybe some not so I'm trying to think of a small builder guitar build like Baronic or what is it? Tiny Tuna?
I'm not sure. I haven't even heard of that.
Tiny Tuna, this Canadian builder, she builds really cool, like Mustang style, Tysco-y kind of style guitars. Oh. Coloma Guitars, I just ordered one of their guitars, also a Canadian builder. Indigenous, if I remember correctly, I would love to continue to move in that direction as well. Yeah. Get some cool, maybe some cool one-off basses or something.
Yeah. Get some Sarek basses
that would be
in
fun.
there, man, from Chicago. Man, that guy makes some amazing stuff.
He really does. I'm not a bass player, but every time I find a Sarek locally, I am like, can I come play your bass, please?
Yeah. Anyways, the good thing is, hey, if you need a roster of people to get in the shop, just look at our playlist, and there you got it.
It's true.
I remember... I can't remember if it was you. I remember, but I can't remember. But someone, I think it was you, said, "Hey, I want to get a hold of Mike from Native Audio because I want to have his stuff."
Yep.
And I was
it was
like,
either him or Lecky.
Oh no, it was Lecky. It was Lecky. That's right. And immediately I was like, "Well, if you like his stuff," and I had to stop myself from dumping 28 builders that came to my mind immediately on that's really exciting, and I realize that you're a small shop and you just can't go cool, I want everybody's stuff, because then nobody's going to be able to walk in there. But anyways, so Johnny, I think it would be amazing if you ended up having a destination store. I think that those are special. And I hope that happens for you if it hasn't already.
I think we kind of, I'm not going to lie, we're riding off the coattails of the previous shot a little bit too, because they have almost a 10-year history of this building being a guitar store and who it used to be associated with. I still get a lot of people who come in all the time who are Green Day fans and want to pop into the shop and see all the show flyers on the wall, because half of my wall on the left-hand side of my shop, well, if you're walking in, the right-hand side, is all 80s and 90s punk rock show flyers that are local to the Bay Area. So Gilman Street, Berkeley, downtown Berkeley, all these small house show flyers. They're all my walls are plastered in them. So I get a lot of people who come in and want to experience that and see those things and take pictures of it and see the old Christie Road sign that, the Green Day song is written about and stuff like that. So I still get that. And I get people who come from Denmark, who come from the East Coast, I had somebody a couple weeks ago who came from Edinburgh, and I let him hang out and just see the shop. But to your point, trying to create like something that's more of a outside of that, I'm really focused on creating Oakland Guitars and curating it to be a community space.
Yeah.
And it's so important to me that right now, somebody just told me over this past weekend, they said to me, you're kind of like our guitar home. And they were referencing to non-gender conforming musicians.
Right.
They were like, word's getting out that you're the place to be because you talk to me the same that my friends talk to me and my chosen family talk to me. I had a woman not that long ago come into the shop who, it was a really humbling experience, who told me, like, she started crying because she's like, I hate coming into music stores. And the fact that you just said, I don't want to mansplain to you how this guitar pedal works. Let me know if you need help.
Yeah.
She's like, I've never had that. My guitar player, I make him come to music shops with me because I'm always treated poorly.
Yeah.
And, she got really emotional about it. And that was a really humbling thing. And a really, that made me, what's the word? Vindicate? I don't know what the word is, but it was really flattering.
It's affirmation
and
that you're doing something.
Yeah, man.
Well.
Yeah. And it was just another shot in the arm of a reminder of keep doing what we're doing because we're doing it for the right reasons.
There you go.
And we're doing it because we care. And we are a mom and pop shop. It's literally a mom and a dad, and our new baby and our 4-year-old running around playing with magnetiles, yeah.
Well, awesome. Johnny, I also just want to mention before we wind up that you've been supporting our show since May of 2021, and which seems like a long time ago. Like I know it's 2023, and I realize that that's only 2 years, but that whole thing just seems like, I don't know. Seems like a long time ago. It isn't, but it does. So I really appreciate.
Yeah, you're welcome. Firstly, but also how I came across this podcast. I'll just give you this quick story. I had just got laid off from a job, and I was heartbroken, gutted, questioning all the, when you get laid off from a job, you're like, what did I do wrong? Why is it me? All these things. And I was walking into a thrift store because I had nothing to do. My kids were asleep and I was just getting out of the house for a little bit and getting, just had Oliver, my 4-year-old at the time. So that was 4 years ago now. And I was walking into a Goodwill and was super anxiety ridden and was just like on my phone trying to look up podcasts that would just like spark joy for me.
Oh my God.
And I typed in guitar podcast and boom, started listening. 4 on the floor. I've been practicing 4 on the floor for the past 5 years.
That's great. I love it.
Every time I listen to an episode, I always, 4 on the floor. And I would go like, nah, that's a dumb pedal, or wait, that's a great pedal. What the hell is that pedal? I got to look this pedal up.
Yeah.
What would mine be? Or when you do When You Rather, or Would You Rather? I always play along, and so it's been 2 years on paper, but it's been a while that you guys just didn't know me, I guess you could say.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing that story. That made my day. I love hearing that kind of stuff, and not just like, hey, well, thanks for supporting us, but just the fact that you made a connection with us. And now we've made a connection back with you, and that means a lot to me.
It's a weird, small, Actually, the first time I ever won like a raffle was
Yeah.
one of the pedal board lights. You know, the
Yeah.
pedal board flashlights?
Yeah,
I have one of
I know
your
them.
bright,
Yeah.
yeah, the copper tone. I have one of the bright
Copper tone.
orange guitar, one of the bright orange ones.
Yeah.
From
Oh.
I don't know how many years ago that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
love
I
it.
discovered the Loma Prieta. It's the Loma Prieta vibrato pedal. That's their
Tremolo.
tremolo. Yeah, I discovered that pedal and I bought that, and that was on the floor for a very long time. And then I got an impulse rush to buy something else and traded it.
Yeah.
Stupidly.
Well, that tickles me. I'm tickled. So that's the kind of stuff that I go home and tell my family about. So it really does for this. I think some of the same feels that you get at your shop. That's we're lucky enough to get a couple of those every now and again, and it's good. It's good. It's good stuff, man. Well, speaking of would you rather, Jared?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's come to that time of the show where we love to play a little game, and we're really happy to have Johnny on for this one. The game is called Would You Rather? All right. So we took a trip out west, and we fall upon the store, the Oakland Guitar store, and there is a couple of guitars that catch our eye right away, and we're like, that's what we gravitate to right away, because they're jazz masters. Who doesn't want a jazz master? They're offset, they're cool, you can do anything with the pickups, you can mod them. But okay, so here we are. There's a 1963 vintage jazz master hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
But somebody had the terrible idea to put some nasty, awful 50s ugly pea stained wallpaper
Pea stained.
on this guitar. Well, it looks
Was
like
it
it
before
anyway.
or after
it's
that
not
it was
pea,
pea
it's-
stained?
it's-
Okay.
It was probably just a leak.
Yes.
So anyway, and it's
Exactly.
in the wallpaper. Or check
ahead.
this out: you get an awesomely modded J Mascis.
Jazz master.
Yeah, a Jazz Master. And
Squire.
I was trying to figure out. Yeah, you want the Squire version? Yeah, and it's totally hot rodded out and
With
it
the
sounds
rosewood
fire.
neck.
Rosewood neck,
Board.
everything you want. So and they're like around the same price.
Really?
So it's like
What?
what are you gonna do?
That's
Well,
crazy.
which one are you gonna pick up? Because you only have enough money to buy one.
All right. Well, this is an interesting one. Let's see. Tanya, we're going to start with you.
Okay. So I'm assuming that the Squire J. Mascis Jazz Master would have upgraded pickups, the first run Rosewood board,
Yeah.
probably a
Cream of the crop.
mastery tremolo system.
King of the Hill.
Yeah, all the
Roller bridge,
A number one.
rewired, everything.
Nice. What color is that one, Jared?
They're all maroon,
Creamy
right?
white, vintage.
Oh, white.
No, creamy vintage white.
Yeah.
Creamy vintage white
Yeah, with the
Least that's
anodized.
what
with
I
the
call them.
anodized guard.
Yeah.
I was thinking Elliot Easton. My bad.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Or the old one that has the alleged pea-stained wallpaper
It's not
on
pea
it.
stained. It's a leak.
It's a leak.
It's
Oh,
just
that's
a
right.
leak.
It was a
from the
leak.
wall, and
So-
they took it. Well,
Yeah, but it's still the vintage instrument.
Yeah. Well, from a playability standpoint, I would say all of the upgrades would definitely make it a better playing instrument. I mean, I've had hit and miss experiences with vintage Jags and Jazz Masters.
Yeah.
Sometimes they set up, a lot of times they don't. I think with the mastery trem system and a roller bridge, you stand a lot better chance to have a better playing instrument. And I was shocked that that what Johnny said. Some of these first run Squire J. Mascis Jazz Masters are going for.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm going to just say I'm going for the player, and I'm going to go for the Squire J. Mascis that has been heavily
I'm
modified.
a little surprised by that.
Well, here's the thing.
Me too.
The vintage pieces, like I said, they can be real hit or miss.
Yeah.
And they didn't. That tremolo system doesn't work well unless you're using like minimum of 11s to 48s, but most likely 12s to 50s in terms of the thickness of the strings.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of hold down unless you add some other goofy little thing that creates a break angle
Right.
at the bridge. So, no, I'm sticking with it. I'm going with the Squire.
Okay, sounds good. Billy.
Well, it just so happens I have a 63, and it had been refinished. The body had been
Did
refinished.
it have pea-stained wallpaper?
No, it was
It's a
stripped down
leak.
natural. It was stripped down natural, so I had to have it painted, custom painted, with to color match the headstock, and it was a chore.
Yeah.
It was expensive to do,
Yeah.
and it still plays kind of crappy, honestly. Because of the bridge. And the pickups are weak, and
We can help you out with that.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It does. It plays well. It's just the output and the sound of the rattly strings.
I'll give you $100
Has a-
cash money
has a-
right now. $100.
I'll beat that. It's 101.
But I found it. I actually found it in a storage closet when I moved into an apartment.
No kidding.
All right.
Yeah.
$2.
I found it. I tracked down the guy who originally owned it, made a deal with him, and fixed an acoustic guitar that he had also left there. Fixed up the acoustic guitar and sent that to him in trade for
No.
keeping the Jazz Master.
Well, that's a good deal.
I have used that guitar with the Mathematics, my punk band.
Yeah.
Okay. But then I ended up buying a Squire Jazz Master and putting some Brandon wound pickups in it. And it was much more functional, and it was pretty cool. So,
Nice.
Did you get the noiseless Jazzmaster?
Yeah. Well, I got the ones that are actually like a P90 in a
Oh.
Jazzmaster size thing, and they're glorious. They're gloriously huge and big.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we
Fantastic.
got to get you the noiseless for your 63.
Huh. Oh, that'd be
I'll
kinda
make that
cool.
happen.
All right, and Tony can make.
I'll
that
be up.
card.
I'll be up, and I'll get.
So now
I'll
you're
get some
giving
for
me
you.
choices on this 63.
All right.
Okay, I gotta make up my mind, don't I?
Yes.
That would be part of the game.
I got to do my taxes. Let's get
Really? Hey, well, I got until April the 17th
Yeah.
to make up my mind.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I'm gonna go with a vintage again.
Okay.
There you go. All right, Jared, how about yourself?
So, I'm gonna pick up each guitar and just make my decision clearly on which neck
Smell.
I like.
Oh, okay. Man.
I like vintage smell, and the stinkier the better. But it's just, I admit it. I love vintage stinky case smell. I like it. Not cigarette-y, but just the vintage.
Yeah.
No, I mean I will do it blindfold too, and I will choose the neck profile I like the best because I'll just mod it or do whatever afterward. But I'm gonna go with the best neck profile, and that can be either one of them, as far as I'm concerned. Because I really like the necks that have been coming on the Squires and the Mexican. The Fender next to me, there's not one that I don't like. So now, mind you, I have played a few vintage, gotten my hands on a few vintage Fenders, and I absolutely love the feel of those old necks. Mostly Strats and Tellys, not so many of the the Jazz Masters, but maybe one or two Jazz Masters. But it just depends on the neck, man. And today I'm gonna pick the Squire.
Okay. Sounds
Damascus.
Let's see here. Let's go, Johnny.
All right. So, luckily, I just so happen to be one of the owners of Oakland Guitars. So somebody comes in and sells me these guitars, and I put them up on the wall, and I do what I normally do, which I sit there and stare at them, and then I take them off the wall and take a picture for Instagram, and I throw it up on the gram, and then I go, do I want to keep this guitar? And so I have the scratch and sniff wallpaper, the pee-pee stinky, and then I have the tried and true, the love of my guitar life, the Squire J. Mascis. So what I do, I own the damn place. I'm going to take the neck off the Squire J. Mascis, put it on the pee-pee stinky. Boom. I get the best of both worlds. I would rather make me a stinky pee-pee freakazoid jazz master. I'm going outside the box.
Love
You're allowed. You're the guest.
I believe that's a violation of the rules, but we will accept that answer.
Yeah.
Only if
All
you
right, fine.
send,
If I need to
only
play
if you
by the
send me
rules.
the neck you didn't use and the body you didn't use.
Fair enough. But if I need to play by the rules, and I'm going to play by the rules also, I'm going to always go with the Squire J. Mascis. Why? I love the underdogs. I don't like. I am not a brand.
Snob.
Yes. I'm going to stick with my J. Mascis. Everyone that has seen me play goes, you're playing Squire, and then they hear me play, and then it's like they're listening to a dragon roar. So I win.
Hey, Johnny.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go vintage with Billy, just because it's gonna be weird and wonderful, and I kind of like that. If you can find something that's like, there's some mojo, there's some history. Somebody, is the ownership, like Jared, you had that guitar, the Ralph guitar, and a couple others. It's that's just cool, because it's one in a million, one in anything.
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
Yeah. What, Tony? That I said one in anything?
No.
No?
No.
What?
Nothing.
Say it.
I got no problems.
Okay.
Got no
That means
problems,
he does.
man.
I got no problems with you
Yeah.
guys.
Is that an imaginary number? One in anything?
One in anything.
Isn't that
Yes,
the
it is.
definition?
All right. We got some people to thank.
That's right, Todd, because at this point of the show, there's a very special group of people we love to thank. These are our executive producers.
That's right.
Now, you might be wondering, what is this executive producer? And I think I want to become one. So how do I do that? It's very simple. You go over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate. Become a sponsor, a patron of this very podcast. Each level comes with some very, very nice thank you gifts. But as an executive producer, I want to say there's one thing more. Jared, is there?
You get to have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers: Moon Guitars, Veteran Pedals, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Elad Mizrahi, Mac D, Richard Kendall, Mark Garton, Matt Hart, James White, Justin Jones, Anthony Gemalero, Bill Gola, Guitars, John Esterly, Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Doug Christ, Darren Gregory, Tom Barazan, Rusty Sneeden, Ralph Gottschalk, Don Kloss, Gregory Randall, Brett Hogarth, Eric Hemmer, Stuart George, Michael Furman, Andrew DeHaan, and Andrew Bell.
Woohoo!
But Todd, there's another special group of executive producers.
I do.
These are the creme de la creme of the executive producer world. We like to call
The
them.
creme anglaise.
Ooh, that's even fancier. These are our grand poobahs. So special. Oh, I forgot they get to wear a fez upon their head
They dare.
whilst listening to the podcast. Woohoo! So special thanks to these grand poobahs: Tommy Manasco, Ricardo Iguareda, David Kaminga, Brandon Wound Pickups, Hex Matos, Michio Murakishi, Bob Crouch, Jack Cadian, Sam Jett, Tyler Rhines, LSJ Music Company, John Williams, James Pennington, Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, Cody Foster, Science of Sound, Brian Robinson, Jonathan Jerusik, Corey Nigro, Michael Van Zant, Tim Nowak, Jonathan Daly, Martin Cliff, Sean S. Yes. David Poe, Billy Spitfire, Unlimited, and Congregation Gear Demos. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Thank you to all those people. Sorry, I had to clear my throat.
Where's Todd at?
All right. Well, I had a thing in my. I was stuck. Anyways,
He had a cramp.
yeah, we've had such a great time just hanging out and talking together, and the time has gotten away from us. But I hope that you have enjoyed hanging out with us. We need to just do a quick roundup on where we can get a hold of us. Johnny, where can people find what you're doing?
Yeah, Instagram's the best way to get in contact with me, see what's going on at the shop. Hit us up on Instagram, Oakland Guitars. It's a verified account, so if you see the blue check mark and you see a bunch of guitars on a cool rug, you'll know it's us.
Yeah, or a happy person holding their brand new guitar on the outside.
Yep, that too. We have lots of them.
Yes. Tony.
Go over to pickguardian.com, check out some of the wares I have available for sale. But if you have something special you want to do, shoot me an email. Let me know what you want to do.
Yeah.
I will take very good care of you.
I actually have some I want to throw by you that I recently saw that made me go like, ooh, la la, that's awesome.
Stop throwing things at me,
I will.
Todd.
Billy.
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook under Billy Spitfire and Billy Spitfire Unlimited. Also, check out Mathematics from Columbus, Ohio, and the Flynns, a Rolling Stones cover band from Columbus, Ohio.
Yes, and at JoJo's Burlesque Men's Open Mic Night.
How did you know? I've told very few people that.
Jared, how about yourself?
I'm kind of...
Well, if anybody would like to get a hold of me for any particular reason, jared.allen.brandon on Instagram.
There you go.
We'll talk about pickups, guitars, whatever
Yes.
you want. We'll talk about it.
Perfect. You can shoot me an email, todd@theguitarknobs.com. You can send me a DM on Instagram @guitarknobs. We'd love to hear from you. Share us your 4 on the floor. Share us your would you rather. Share whatever you want. We'll dig it. And you can also make sure that you get the Stomper from Flint Effects for your HX Stomp, your Stomp XL, your Eventide H90, your Valitron GP200 from those are blowing up on Amazon. It's crazy. We got the goods for you. So go to Flint Effects or just .com and go get yourself one. It ain't gonna hurt you. It's fantastic stuff. Let me tell you that. I don't know why I'm talking like what is that guy? I'm selling a car or something.
Let me go
I don't
talk to
even
my
know.
Guy from New Jersey.
Yeah. And also check us out, the Valentinos, anywhere you listen to fine dining music. All right. Thank you, everyone, so much. Have a fantastic guitar weekend. Subscribe! Tony, you got something for us?
I don't think I do.
Okay. Yeah, that means you do, and you're just toying with me mercilessly.
Mercilessly.
Okay. All right, guys, let's do this. Like Brutus.
And
'Cause
away we
always
go.
knew this. Ha ha. Doing the elevator dance. There's no steps.
That 80s
You
band.
gotta clap me here. I'm having a moment.
Call me whatever you want. That's cool.
Please do not poke the bear.
Yeah. It's for you. Okay, gotcha. I was like, you got me. That's fair. Fair play. I don't often get got, but I just got.
Testicle, spectacles, wallet, and watch.
Okay. Ready?
Check.
Oh,
Check. MasterCard.
yes.
Okay.
And he's more apt to talk to you about the sandwich.
Yeah, probably.
Honestly.
That's
I had a sandwich and then I didn't.
all righty.
That's
So you
short notice.
You want to stay Thursday, Friday?
He just needs to know when to drain half of the jacuzzi.
With Tony I there, yeah.
Yeah, we might
You
have to
guys
take it
ain't
to the
even
halfway
wet.
mark.
I showed you that, right? Did I show you that? I showed you that.
What?
I'm not speaking into a sock as much as I want to.
Does he talk like a regular guy?
I know him, and he does. Can't hear you, Peach.
That's right.
You're punkin'?
Pumpkin, porcupine. I mean, I was raised on the Three Stooges, so like, what do you want? What do you want from me?
Wise guy.
I saw you clap, but I couldn't hear it. But I can still see it.
Were you in the woods alone?
Let's do it. All right,
Who's gonna write it down?
Jared's got it. Jared, you got it.
I'm writing it down, even though the pen doesn't work. I can still see what I'm writing.
And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.